Ugh.
Throughout the vast regions of the demon realm, gusts of sinister wind howled, particularly around the demon mountain range at the outskirts of the demon god palace. The two evil god armies, along with the fire spirit clan and others, stood apart, intensifying the already oppressive atmosphere to its peak. An unprecedented, climactic confrontation was escalating rapidly. The two evil god powerhouses stood quietly, observing the scene before them, which had been secretly altered by Xiao Yan. Their demeanor was calm, as though they were waiting for something. The Fire Spirit Clan and others were also silently waiting here, anticipating Xiao Yan's command once he entered the Divine Hall. When that moment arrived, they would unleash a barrage of attacks on the evil god armies. At that point, a true battle between the forces was inevitable. At the center of the demon god palace's Divine Hall lay a dry well, which was the entrance to the Mountain of Corpses. Anyone who stepped inside would likely face a death sentence. Two figures leapt into the well, one after the other. Few knew the secrets hidden within, as even the evil gods and other powerful beings couldn't break through. It was clearly no ordinary place. Grand Elder, thank you. As she descended into the dry well, Su Shuiying could feel the thickening demonic aura around her. The energy slowly stirred the demonic power within her body, like some abyssal demon gradually assimilating her. She glanced back one last time, tears welling up in her eyes. This might be the last time they would see each other. Boom! In an instant, when she fell to the ground of the Mountain of Corpses, she found herself standing at the edge of a coastline stretching tens of meters. The sight before her resembled the apocalypse. Everything seemed filled with ominous power. The Mountain of Corpses loomed like a colossal peak standing amidst the evil demon sea. Around her, the demon sea was a black, suffocating expanse, teeming with swirling demonic energy. The thick, menacing air was enough to chill the bones. Amidst the turbulent sea of demonic power, an eerie stillness pervaded the atmosphere. On her wrists, the two demonic seeds released a fiery surge toward the demon mountain in the center of the demon sea. Su Shuiying's sacred flame demon fire flickered to life, drawing power from the released seals, gradually amplifying her strength. When she gazed upon the demon sea, the infinite aura of death mixed with a chilling terror assaulted her senses. It was unclear whether she could pull out the demon sword, but breaking free from the demon sea's grasp to reach the demon mountain seemed like an impossible task. The demon sea howled, and anyone who fell into it would likely have their very soul consumed by its depths. The unsettling aura within the sea created a feeling of dread in her heart. This place seemed like a dead zone. How could she possibly find a way out? Let me try. Despite facing such peril, Su Shuiying showed no sign of retreat. She had already committed herself to this path, with no turning back. In that moment, her cultivation method began to circulate, and two sacred flames surged outward. Though their devouring force caused her immense strain, she fought to keep them under control. Simultaneously, the demonic seeds entered her body, rapidly refining and absorbing the pure demonic power within them. A soul-wrenching scream erupted as Su Shuiying's presence and aura shifted dramatically, her strength soaring rapidly. Third reincarnation stage. Peak of the third reincarnation stage. Boom! Su Shuiying's strength continued to surge, and within the black flames of one of her sacred flames, the form of an ethereal, elderly figure began to materialize. The figure bore the clan mark of the Xiao clan on its forehead, and with a mere gesture, it stabilized the swirling demonic energy of the entire demon sea. After a brief moment, the demon sea trembled once more, as countless demonic whirlwinds and other destructive forces, white bones, blood-soaked pits, rushed towards Su Shuiying to strike her down. However, something strange happened. As soon as Su Shuiying's body made contact with the demonic whirlwinds, she mysteriously vanished from sight, as though consumed by the demon sea. Had she been swallowed whole in an instant? Or had the figure within the Black Knight demon fire intervened and protected her from the demon sea's threat? There. Is that the Mountain of Corpses? Soon, Xiao Yan's figure appeared at the once dominant shore of the demon sea. His arrival was met with an overwhelming shock, as the vast, all-encompassing demon sea was a sight to behold. Releasing his soul power, he failed to detect any trace of Su Shuiying. His eyes narrowed as he fixed his gaze on the massive mountain within the demon sea. No matter how vast and grand the mountain was, it appeared insignificant against the endless black expanse of the demon sea, like a solitary island in the middle of an endless ocean. Yet, despite the apocalyptic forces unleashed by the sea, it seemed impervious to them, as if some mysterious connection existed between the two. I refuse to believe this is a dead zone. Since this place was left behind by the first-generation demon god, there must be a way to break through. The fact that generations of the demon god palace's descendants failed to uncover its secrets only proves that their methods were wrong. For a moment, Xiao Yan sat cross-legged by the shore, his body radiating waves of powerful energy that continuously surged into the demon sea, attempting to probe its depths and search for a way to unravel its mysteries. Xiao Yan's soul force and sacred flame were hindered, moving slowly as they ventured deeper into the demon sea. Soon, dozens, then hundreds, and even thousands of figures appeared, seemingly emerging from the very depths of the demon sea. Scenes of carnage and tragic emotions unfolded, showing individuals from the heart of the demon realm, proud and lofty, who had entered the demon sea to retrieve the demon sword, only to perish here. The images of death were like a black tide, crashing against Xiao Yan's consciousness and power, attempting to engulf him and leave him trapped in this place. Xiao Yan made no resistance, allowing this eerie power to consume him. Suddenly, the demon sea began to churn, and from its depths, a destructive storm made of pitch-black demonic energy spread out. The scent of death filled the air, and with a mere wave, it could obliterate all life. Amidst the storm, faint cries of anguish and desperate roars could be heard, like the pleas of those on the brink of death. Bones, corpses, and the stench of demonic blood howled together, forming a true apocalyptic storm. The demon sea began to collapse, and the world changed color. Even a true powerhouse of the seventh reincarnation stage could only quietly fall beneath it. In the face of such an apocalyptic scene, Xiao Yan's strength seemed to be reduced to nothing, his body trembling with fear. If he were consumed by the storm, only death awaited him. I found you. However, facing this apocalyptic storm, Xiao Yan's eyes suddenly snapped open, and his body was bathed in a seven-colored sacred flame. He shot forward into the storm's gaping maw. What seemed like a suicidal act was actually the key to unraveling the demon sea and entering the mountain of corpses. Because this demon sea had a secret name known only to the first-generation demon god, Deceptive Demon Sea. The moment Xiao Yan entered the demon sea, his hairs stood on end, and a dark, deathly aura rushed into his heart. Yet, no matter how terrifying and oppressive this aura was, Xiao Yan showed no signs of retreating. His body was slowly consumed, as if it were entering a special space in an instant. Time passed. The battles in the other four regions seemed to have reached a fever pitch. Even the ancient formations outside the demon god palace were growing weaker, as if they would collapse completely soon. The catastrophe of the demon realm seemed to be nearing its end. The two who entered the demon sea were spun around in a dizzying swirl before being strangely pulled into a unique dimension. It seems I was right. The demon sea, though terrifying, is merely an illusion. This place, it seems to be the central hub of the demon sea. The powers within Xiao Yan's body had temporarily lost their effect, but there was no sign of any dangerous fluctuations around him. He began to carefully observe his surroundings. This mysterious dimension had no exit, like a sealed chamber. Around him were strange crystalline blocks, roughly the size of a head, round and yet incredibly tough. What was most unusual, however, was that when Xiao Yan looked at these crystals, he couldn't see his reflection. Instead, the crystals seemed to be infused with a mysterious force, shifting and flowing in an almost mesmerizing way. There's only one path. Do I keep walking? The dimensional space here. Could it be the masterpiece of the first-generation demon god? Xiao Yan couldn't shake the feeling that the first-generation demon god wasn't just extraordinarily gifted, but also a person of immense pride. What was the purpose of the space he had created? The journey wasn't long. After just a few minutes, Xiao Yan reached the end. At the end of this world stood a massive crystal block, its purpose unclear, within a narrow space still composed entirely of colorless crystals. This place. It's similar to the mysterious cave heavens of the demon realm. Suddenly, Xiao Yan recalled something. During his journey to the demon realm, he had seen certain secrets belonging to the demon emperor in this kind of crystal world. Could it be that the demon emperor's immortality power came from this special dimension? But the demon realm and the demon sea were completely different. What exactly was the first-generation demon god planning to do with this space? On the other side, Su Shuiying found herself in a similar situation. However, unlike Xiao Yan, she stood before a dazzlingly bright massive crystal, with some obscure words inscribed upon it, words not found in Xiao Yan's space. This place is located at the core of the demon sea. If you are fortunate enough to enter, you may use this crystal to explore its mysteries. This item is called the Cavern Heaven Demon Crystal. It can perceive the balance of yin and yang and understand all things. Remember, it may only be used once to explore the past, but not the future. The faint magical aura surrounding these words protected them, and despite the passage of countless years, they showed no signs of fading. Looking at the inscriptions, Su Shuiying's eyes softened for a moment, then she hesitated, wondering about their authenticity. The Xiao clan guardians moments later, Su Shuiying's long eyelashes fluttered as she raised her wrist. With the power of the sacred flame, she directly etched a series of large characters on it. However, as she wrote the final character, an unfamiliar man's figure suddenly appeared in her mind. He was the first man who could stir her emotions and affect her moods. Xiao Clan, Xiao Yan. In the blink of an eye, the words on the crystal stone were changed. The crystal surface began to distort and rotate, and long-sealed images appeared within it. Doqi Continent, Wutan City. The humiliation and the broken engagement. 30 years to the east, 30 years to the west. Don't bully a poor young man. Scenes of the passionate youth's past unfolded before her eyes without any concealment. His joys, anger, sorrow, life, death, and farewells felt as vivid as if she had experienced them herself. The clarity of the images recorded Xiao Yan's events in the Doqi continent. His bold words and fearless demeanor truly astonished Su Shuiying. So, their cultivation in the lower realms was just the beginning for us. For the family, for those he loves, for things worth protecting. His cultivation has always been walking on the edge of a knife, where a slight misstep could lead to complete downfall. This is the manner that someone from the Xiao clan should have. I've always misunderstood him. After understanding Xiao Yan's past, Su Shuiying's mindset underwent a drastic change. As for Xiao Yan, there were no such words. Instead, he found himself in a dilemma. I really don't know how Su Shuiying is doing now. She wasn't like this before. What exactly has she gone through? As Xiao Yan muttered to himself, the huge crystal stone in the space began to flicker, and an image appeared within. It was a prosperous and flourishing special kingdom. A magnificent mountain range appeared in the view, with an island floating in the sky above it. Four brilliant golden characters separated the two. Xiao Clan Mansion. The four golden characters, like some sort of restriction, lingered in the high skies of the prosperous mountain range, towering and awe-inspiring. Beneath the island, many clan members' residences were nestled within the mountains. This was once the peak of the Xiao clan's glory, the Guardian Clan Mansion mountain range that controlled countless subordinate races behind it. Dad, who lives on that island? At this moment, on a cliff, a middle-aged man was holding a delicate little girl in his arms. Those on the island are great heroes. The middle-aged man looked up at the island with respect. Great heroes? Is Dad one of them? After Su, I'll become a great hero too. The father and daughter laughed and chatted. Clan leader, something's wrong? The Xiao clan leader just came out of the Xiao clan mansion, but his expression seemed strange. When he saw us, the Guardian clan, he indiscriminately massacred us. Boom. An invisible shockwave suddenly spread through the sky, followed by a grim figure appearing without expression. Although the information was limited, Xiao Yan immediately recognized the man in the image. It was none other than the former Xiao clan leader, Xiao Yan. The Guardian clan leader, who had just risen to pay respects, was struck by Xiao Yan's hand, which came down heavily. Boom! The void twisted, and an overwhelmingly powerful annihilation aura surged forward. Even through the image, Xiao Yan could feel an immense pressure. Xiao Yan's strength was incomparable to the peak period of Lei Zhu. He was too powerful. With a casual strike, the Guardian clan leader was severely injured. Dad, what's wrong? Don't scare me. Su's eyes reddened, a stinging sensation in her nose. She lifted her delicate face, trying her best to remember Xiao Yan's appearance and expression. No matter what, she couldn't understand why these so-called great heroes, whom her father had spoken of, would turn on them. At this moment, Xiao Yan's gloomy expression seemed to have been released. The power around him surged again, and with a casual strike, he captured the Guardian clan leader. Twisting his fingers, the horrifying power shattered the leader's bones, and the sound of his soul being crushed was like a demonic sound, deeply piercing Su's nerves. After effortlessly annihilating the Guardian clan leader, Xiao Yan's figure and voice grew even more wild. He dashed into the Guardian clan mansion mountain range, slaughtering without mercy. The entire Guardian clan, nearly 10,000 strong, was almost entirely wiped out. Blood flooded the area, turning it into a river of blood. It became a nightmare that haunted Su's childhood, flames burning everything in sight, seemingly scorching the very essence of the place. It was at this moment that Su's mystic green 10,000 frost flame erupted, initially saving her from disaster. Then, she quietly carried the Netherite demon fire from the Guardians clan and drifted to the Dodi continent. Not long after, the decisive moment of the first great war of heaven and earth arrived, and no strong figure had the energy to investigate this matter. It was left unresolved after the war, and the Xiao clan's experts disappeared from the Great Thousand World site. This ancestor of Su was also the last bloodline of the Guardians clan, and an ancestor to Xun'er and others. The images recorded in her mind became an unshakable nightmare for the Guardians clan of the Dodi continent, tormenting them endlessly. As for Su, she was several generations later, a remnant of the Guardians clan, who regarded the Xiao clan as their greatest enemy. This eventually led to the various conflicts between Su and Xiao Yan. Sigh. This girl really has a hard life, Xiao Yan muttered. At this moment, having learned the truth of the matter, Xiao Yan felt a deep sense of guilt for the Guardians clan, which only strengthened his determination to save her. The Guardians clan, under the Xiao clan's leadership, had carried out their duty faithfully, only to be utterly annihilated by the Xiao clan. Anyone would be unable to endure such nightmarish torment. Though later, with Xiao Yan's help, many doubts were resolved, such as the truth that the Xiao Yan who wiped out the Guardians clan was not the real Xiao Yan. The vivid apocalyptic scenes of the past still pierced their hearts like needles, forever etched in their memories. The residual images of the genocide hate, left by Su's ancestor, had accompanied Su and many other Guardians clan experts throughout their lives. It became an inescapable nightmare, filled with resentment and hatred, twisting their hearts. A hard life, huh? As Xiao Yan's voice echoed, a sharp and playful voice suddenly rose from within the crystal latitude, accompanied by an aura Xiao Yan recognized. Su? Xiao Yan was stunned and quickly looked up at the distorted void in the crystal latitude, calling out urgently. Moments later, the void twisted, and Su Shuiying's delicate figure quietly emerged from it. She was dressed in a black long dress that highlighted her enchanting curves with a sinister allure. Countless strands of demonic aura surrounded her, resembling a demoness from the demon realm, far from the pure, ethereal figure she once was. At this moment, Su Shuiying's beautiful face carried no hostility towards Xiao Yan. Instead, it was filled with a sense of relief. All that had happened before was her misunderstanding of Xiao Yan. But now, their situations were completely different, and there was no turning back. Are you okay? Their gazes met, and then they both asked in unison, making the atmosphere slightly awkward. I'm fine. Looking at Xiao Yan's situation and the crystalline stone in front of him, Su Shuiying forced a smile. Then, As if remembering something, her eyes locked onto Xiao Yan. Your strength? You've reached the peak of the 6th reincarnation stage? The immense demonic aura in your body is too strange, causing your power to float unrealistically. If this continues, your strength won't be able to progress, and you might even face life-threatening danger. You need to disperse those powers. After a while, observing the curse marks and demon patterns on Su Shuiying's fair skin, Xiao Yan's expression darkened. His vast perception immediately detected the complicated and troublesome situation in Su Shuiying's body. Although it was complex, with Xiao Yan's strength, it was not beyond remedy. But if the demonic aura continued to erode her, Su Shuiying would face a perilous situation. At that point, even Xiao Yan might be helpless. Xiao Yan, I truly misunderstood you before. I'm sorry. Su Shuiying clasped her hands behind her, gently biting her lip. Then, she gracefully turned, shaking her head slightly as if making some decision. Xiao Yan was stunned, clearly realizing something. With the help of this mysterious place, Su Shuiying understood her past, and the atmosphere between them had completely changed. The misunderstandings and emotional knots were finally unraveled. Anyway, you're part of the Xiao clan's guardians. I will naturally take care of your matters. Xiao Yan's gaze turned stern, and the sacred flame around him began to gather. If Su Shuiying didn't disperse these powers, he might have to take matters into his own hands. After all, if the demonic aura eroded her essence, the changes afterward would be beyond Xiao Yan's control. At that point, the worst-case scenario would be severe injury, or at worst, being completely consumed by those powers and transformed into a malevolent demon. Feeling guilty and wanting to do something for the Guardian's clan elders, Xiao Yan, both emotionally and rationally, could not let her continue down this path. After all, Su Shuiying was one of the few high-ranking remnants of the Guardian's clan. Before that, I have a small request. Go ahead. Can. At this moment, Su Shuiying gracefully took a step forward, gently walking toward Xiao Yan, her beautiful eyes carrying a faint hint of stubbornness. As for the matter of the Guardian clan, I will give you a satisfactory answer. Xiao Yan nodded, and then the two slowly drew closer. As their bodies met, Xiao Yan wrapped one arm around her head and the other around her slim waist, not crossing any boundaries. Instead, Su Shuiying buried her head tightly in Xiao Yan's chest, her arms wrapping around his torso. Warmth, quietness, and a sacred aura flowed from Xiao Yan, calming Su Shuiying's breath, bringing a complete stillness to her. If you don't mind, then become my sister. The Xiao clan will always be your refuge, always welcome you back. Xiao Yan didn't push Su Shuiying away, allowing the delicate figure to sob softly in his embrace, her voice gentle, like that of a loving older brother. Her sobs were like those of a little girl who had lost her most beloved toy, pitiful and fragile. It's a promise from now on, you are my Xiao Yan brother. After a moment, hearing Xiao Yan's voice, the person in his arms surprisingly lifted her tear-streaked, beautiful face, struggling to force a smile through her tears, breaking into a laugh. It's a promise. Seeing Su Shuiying act this way, Xiao Yan's guilt eased significantly, and he lightly embraced her. This should be the best way to handle their relationship. Xiao Yan brother, thank you. But I still want to protect those I care about with my own strength. I am already gravely ill from the demonic aura. I can no longer return to the Guardian clan. In this life, I am glad to have met you. If I die, please tell Elder Feng that I went to a place where no one is and will be training there. I don't want her to worry. The calamity of the demon realm was caused by us, so it should be us who bring it to an end. Su Shuiying smiled. As her smile spread, a torrent of demonic aura erupted uncontrollably around her, flooding the entire crystal latitude. The overwhelming demonic energy froze Xiao Yan in place, a vast and oppressive power bearing down on him. Within the waves, there seemed to be hidden powers from the two palace masters of the demon god palace, and even the first-generation demon god. However, just as Xiao Yan tried to act, a multicolored crystal appeared on his chest, continuously releasing a gentle force that soothed his entire body. In an instant, all the power within him was frozen, as if bound and unable to move. The Though the crystal melted visibly as Xiao Yan struggled with all his might, time was already running out. Su Shuiying's breath was completely consumed by demonic energy, with two sacred flames fiercely clashing against the demonic aura within her. She then temporarily suppressed Xiao Yan, leaving the crystal latitude and heading toward the mountain of corpses. Clearly, she intended to pull the demon's sword with her own strength. Xiao Yan, goodbye. Her sweet yet tragic voice echoed, and immediately Su Shuiying's body was bathed in the surging demonic aura. The tears in her eyes were replaced by a chilling and murderous coldness, and she broke through the crystal latitude, heading toward the mountain of corpses in the center of the demon sea. She could no longer control the powerful energy within her, which was at the peak of the 6th reincarnation stage. If she didn't rely on this power to pull the demon's sword, she would inevitably suffer a backlash and perish here. It was either success or perish here. This was Su Shuiying's determination. Crack! The demonic aura surrounding Su Shuiying churned, like an irredeemable evil fiend. Just as she broke through the crystal latitude and reached the base of the demon mountain, two strands of void black energy immediately trapped her. The terrifying demonic energy surpassed even the 6th reincarnation stage. The demon god palace's enchantress. This kind of power, 6th reincarnation peak? From the two black mists came a surprised voice. Let's see if she can manage. Demon music lute melody. In an instant, a gloomy voice emerged, easily controlling the strings of Su Shuiying's heart. Master! Su Shuiying's icy voice emerged, and under the control of the demon lute, her 6th reincarnation stage, peak strength received a certain boost. However, the sacred flame and other powers inside her seemed to always maintain a distance from the evil forces of the extraterritorial evil clan, which was strange. Go to the peak of the demon mountain and pull out the demon sword. Yes. Su Shuiying, you liar. As the void twisted, Xiao Yan immediately sensed something. A surge of anger swept through his chest, but it was for atonement and her own stubbornness. The Guardian's lineage holds themselves to a higher standard, pure and untainted. For someone like Su Shuiying, whose body is entangled with demonic aura, returning to that pure state seems impossible. She can never get past the barrier within her heart. After all, she is the most gifted and beautiful person in the Guardian lineage. Yet now she has become like this? So what if I am filled with demonic aura? I have many powers within me, demons, ghosts, evil forces, sacred flame, and others all coexisting. So how can anyone judge whether it's good or bad? Power itself has no distinction of good and evil. It is the user who determines that. Su Shuiying grew up in an environment filled with hatred. Her teachings were too feudal and conservative. Leaving the Guardians and joining the demon realm seemed to have set her fate, leading to this moment. But Xiao Yan is different. He knows that among some of the ancient races in the Great Thousand Worlds, the rigid mindset found in Su Shuiying's mind is not uncommon. Yet, these shackles, Xiao Yan will break them in his own way. It all begins with Su Shuiying. The purpose of cultivation is to better protect certain things. Boom! The brilliant flames instantly filled the entire crystal latitude, and the place began to distort. A shining path of light appeared before Xiao Yan. This crystal latitude was just a special space left behind by the first-generation demon god. Under Xiao Yan's rage, it collapsed on its own, but Su Shuiying clearly gained many benefits from this. Beyond the path of light was the passage leading to the mountain of corpses. However, during the time Xiao Yan was trapped by the crystal stone, Su Shuiying had already been manipulated and forced to do many things. At the bottom of the demon mountain, there were two exceptionally fierce figures waiting for Xiao Yan. Their strength was by no means something to take lightly. Boom! The world spun, and Xiao Yan found himself at the foot of the demon mountain. Looking around at the roaring demon sea, fear rose in his heart. This demonic sea, after so many years, had absorbed countless powers. If one fell into it, they would surely face a true crisis. It was a troublesome situation. Looking up, the so-called mountain of corpses was covered in ominous blood, shattered bones, and hollowed shells. A faint aura of death pervaded the area, and after staring at it for too long, Even Xiao Yan couldn't help but feel a sense of dread in his mind. He lifted his head and gazed at the peak of the mountain of corpses, where an exceedingly thick, black, demonic aura emerged. The space was distorted and churned as the entire area sank into darkness. It was as though something overwhelmingly powerful enough to shake the entire demon realm existed within. Such a dangerous place. Even Xiao Yan felt his heart race with fear. If Su Shuiying stepped into it, her end would be nothing but a burial without a trace. No, I must. Xiao Yan's eyes darkened as sacred flame erupted around him, and he tried to rush toward the mountain to stop Su Shuiying's suicidal steps. But the moment Xiao Yan made a move, two massive clouds of black mist appeared before him, blocking his way. The chilling, sinister laughter echoed in the air, intercepting Xiao Yan. Ha ha ha. Xiao Yan, we meet again. At that moment, the black mist surged, spreading an eerie and overwhelming evil aura that engulfed the entire world. Two terrifying figures of demonic energy appeared at the bottom of the mountain of corpses. It seemed as though these two had been waiting here for a long time. Half-step 7th reincarnation stage, 7th reincarnation stage. These must be the 5th evil god sacred demon lord and the 6th evil god demon sovereign of the demon realm center. Xiao Yan's expression darkened as he stared at the 5th and 6th evil gods in front of him. The pressure on his mind was immense. It seemed that the deal with them was nothing but a joke. He slowly lifted his head and saw a slender figure emerge on the mountain, surrounded by the evil aura of the extraterritorial evil clan. It seemed she was being guided or controlled, slowly making her way to the mountain peak. The restrictions at the peak of the mountain of corpses were too terrifying. Su Shuiying's actions were akin to walking into her own death. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. An alluring demonic melody sounded as the demon sovereign's lute played, and a terrible evil energy surged, flowing directly into Su Shuiying's body, controlling her and pushing her toward the peak. Is this demon sovereign just an energy clone? From the moment the demon sovereign used the lute, Xiao Yan's sharp senses immediately picked up on something. He muttered to himself, are they trying to control Su Shuiying to enter the demon mountain? Could their goal be the demon sword? But Su Shuiying has two sacred flames within her, along with the power of two palace masters. Normally, she shouldn't be under their control. Xiao Yan was burning with anxiety, but the two individuals before him exuded an extremely rare pressure, especially the holy demon lord, whose true face had never been revealed. It seemed that the latter possessed some strange power within, which had a strong suppressive effect on him. This power wasn't like the ordinary purity of the heart. Instead, it was like a pure, extremely evil divine force. It resembled a unique power of the great thousand worlds, the power of the angels. Where exactly is the true body of this 6th evil god, demon sovereign? For a moment, Xiao Yan sensed something was amiss. The realm lord of the demon realm center and many others had defected to the extraterritorial evil clan. Yet why had he not seen a trace of them? Moreover, this guy was now just an energy clone. Where was his true body? Could there be some hidden secret in all of this? Xiao Yan, this is where you will meet your end today. The voice of the holy demon lord was as cold and sinister as death itself, pronouncing Xiao Yan's fate. No sooner had the latter spoken than a powerful evil god guard, at the 5th reincarnation stage, rushed forth from his side. Surrounding him were several swirling clouds of ominous black gas, each one at the 3rd or 4th reincarnation stage. Let's make a move. Without further words, the battle ignited. At the same time, the Fire Sprite clan's powerful beings, having received Xiao Yan's soul signal, suddenly launched their assault. With no evil god guarding the area, it was only a matter of time before the Fire Sprite clan cleared out the strong opponents guarding the Demon God Palace. Yet, strangely, no trace of the Demon Realm Center's powerhouses was found. It was as though these so-called experts had ceased to exist altogether. Peak 6th reincarnation stage strength. This guy's growth speed is truly terrifying. Watching Xiao Yan's radiant power, the grim and twisted face of the holy demon lord, hidden beneath the black mist, twitched with malice. There was once a time when Xiao Yan had been no more than an insignificant ant in the hands of the extraterritorial evil clan, easily crushed at will. But as time passed and the plans of the extraterritorial evil clan changed, this descendant of the Xiao clan, lingering in the Great Thousand Worlds, had grown at a speed that was nothing short of astonishing. Now, he had reached a level that even the Holy Demon Lord found troublesome and formidable. Kill. Several evil powerhouses, having received the evil god's orders, howled as they sped toward Xiao Yan. Get away from me. Faced with the assault of the evil god guards, a blazing glow of sacred flame erupted around Xiao Yan. Without holding back, he effortlessly eradicated them. Holy Demon Lord, Xiao Yan's combat power is even more terrifying than his strength. You'd better be cautious, came a voice from the Demon Sovereign's energy clone, as it manipulated the power of the Demon Lute to control Su Shuiying, climbing the Demon Mountain. It could no longer spare any power to help, only offering a word of warning. I know. The Holy Demon Lord snorted coldly, and the demonic aura around him began to rise steadily, just as expected of a Xiao clan descendant. But the difference between the 6th and 7th reincarnation stages is not something you can imagine. Demon Domain, Sacred Demon Heaven and Earth. A sorrowful, sinister melody echoed across the land, and streams of evil power that seemed to transcend this world surged forth. Instantly, Xiao Yan's body felt as though it was being pulled into some unknown, dark realm by an overwhelmingly malicious force. Chilling, cold, and suffocating, these various auras flooded into Xiao Yan's perception, as if slowly devouring his body and will. With powers such as Domain and the Forbidden Palace, Xiao Yan had rarely used them since reaching the peak of the 6th reincarnation stage. After all, once at that level, it was his Do skills and techniques that truly determined the outcome of battles. Now, the Holy Demon Lord's attack was clearly trying to trap the two of them in a dark realm, attempting to resolve Xiao Yan here and now. After all, their power was far too terrifying. If a full battle broke out here, the entire Demon Sea would likely be obliterated in the process. Here, I will end you once and for all. As he spoke, the vast powers around them, like flickering stars, illuminated the entire dark realm. One exuded evil energy, while the other was filled with divine, searing heat. An immense, raging war fire swept toward them. Looking at the intense demonic aura around the Holy Demon Lord's body and recalling this being's long years of lurking within the Grand Thousand Palace, Xiao Yan's mind raced. After a moment, he shook his head slightly. It was clear he was not planning to use his sacred flame power in this battle. Baxia, Water Dragon Whirlwind, Heavenly Waterfall. In that instant, blue water ripples emerged around Xiao Yan, filled with an ancient and heavy aura. Countless cyan halos shot out from Xiao Yan's body, immediately swirling in the dark realm like a vast, boundless ocean. A majestic cyan dragon, formed from the gathering of countless water elemental forces, appeared. Its dense cyan scales seemed to shake even the Holy Demon Lord. Power of the Dragon Clan? Seeing this scene, a grim expression unconsciously appeared on the Holy Demon Lord's face. Few in the Great Thousand Worlds could wield top-tier immortal techniques and Do skills using their own power. Yet, Xiao Yan was so clever, not using sacred flame power against him. This slightly surprised the Holy Demon Lord. After all, he had already discovered several ways to deal with the sacred flame. Finally, the azure dragon's body trembled as water splashed around it. The dragon's eyes contained an overwhelming divine power that could not be resisted, rushing directly toward the Holy Demon Lord. Heavenly Sacred Shadow. In an instant, upon seeing Xiao Yan's fierce attack, the Holy Demon Lord effortlessly emerged from the black mist. His entire body was as tender as a young boy's, and a horrifying, sinister smile appeared on his handsome face. In his palm, a pure white scroll was easily crushed, releasing a sacred aura. As snowflakes began to swirl in the air, a silhouette of a woman, 100 feet tall, fully emerged behind him, shielding him. The woman appeared as a supreme ruler, gazing down upon all life. As she casually swayed her delicate body, snowflakes scattered around her, and her enchanting eyes slowly opened, locking onto Xiao Yan. An invisible pressure caused Xiao Yan's internal power to slow down. This woman was composed of pure white power, and through it, one could vaguely see a pure, divine aura emanating from her skin. Even in the center of her figure, a glowing orb appeared. Xiao Yan watched it, and suddenly, the powers within him grew quiet, disobeying his command. It was as if all the forces within him, under the shock of this light orb, could no longer be controlled. Whether it was his soul power, mental strength, or other forces, they were all influenced by her presence. Your identity seems to be related to Lu Hui's eyes? At this moment, Xiao Yan became wary. The power on this woman's figure definitely lacked any trace of evil. On the contrary, it was so pure that Xiao Yan felt a sense of unease. The connection to Lu Hui's eyes, combined with the fact that this being's lifespan was extremely long and she had been dormant in the Great Thousand Worlds for countless years, suggested that this power might very well come from the Angel Kingdom, from the power of Xiao Yan. Angel power. Angel power was supremely sacred. Even Xiao Yan, without revealing all his abilities, had no good way to deal with it. This power was a countermeasure against the Great Thousand Worlds and even the extraterritorial evil clan.